really wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about one of the things I wanted um, to explore with you was around mentoring.
Mm,
And I know that uh, you've had amazing mentors,
mhm,
and I've also witnessed you mentoring others
mhm,
and seen some of your mentoring with some of your instructors, um, and I I have some curiosities about. Uh, One of my curiosities is, what called you to the mentors that you worked with, and how do you know if it's someone that you want to mentor you or not?
mm.
Uh, what are some of the signals or signs or
Um, I will say this about mentors that I've had in my life. I feel um, beyond lucky, grateful to have the people that have been my mentors in my life. And in a way, there's part of me that wants to say, they reveal themselves to you, that they come to you, that
Mhm.
organically happens. And that's, while I believe that to be true, I also believe very wholeheartedly in a work ethic that creates the path that reveals them to you. Like,
Mm,
the reason that these people came into my life wasn't just like, "Oh, right place, right time.
right.
Oh, coincidence." I I put a lot of work in to make sure that I was in that right place at right time, not
Mm,
for these particular mentors, but that I put myself in a place where I was open to find them and they were accessible. And then once I was sort of around them enough and I knew like, oof, this is this is a really special human and I wanna soak up all,
mm.
then I'm gonna be loud and I'm gonna come forward and say, "Can I pretty much just be around you in any way?"
Oh, Amy.
In my form of, learning at that time on modality dance, I was like, "Can I come to your class? Can I come to rehearsal? Can I learn all of the things? Can I," you know, I don't know, there was just, it became a obvious choice to me that the only way that could happen is if I ask, and the worst that can happen is they say no.
Right.
For all the people that I found really special in my life as mentors, luckily, no one said no.
Wow. Yeah. I, uh, one of the words you just said was access, um, and that's one of the things that it's like the first thing I noticed about your studio when I came into your studio was that, um, you provide mats. You don't charge for people to rent their mats, and I noticed that you have tiers, and I don't know of any other yoga studio that I've been to that has tiers, to make it affordable. And also, like, first time, my friend came and I was like, "Oh, can I pay for him?" And you're like, "Oh, it's his first time. He could," um, and there's like, there's an accessibility that, and an approachability, that you have, or that I experience with you and also with your business, with the studio you have with Dragonfly. Um, and I wonder, it's really wonderful. But also I wonder, like, where did you witness that, or how did you learn that? Or was there a mentor that, what was the instruction or wisdom, or how did you gather that? Or is there a story around that?
Oh, wow, that's a great question, babe.
Mhm.
Well, first of all, thank you for noticing that. I do not charge for mats. I want everybody who comes there with the intention of taking yoga to be able to take yoga and not say, "Oh, you don't have a mat. Sorry."
Yeah.
I mean, that would just suck. Like, you
Yeah, that would really suck a lot.
have an extra $4.50 to rent a mat. So yeah, thank you for noticing that. And I think Terry Lynn, who teaches at the studio, she teaches yoga church. When I first started talking, he was one of the first people I was speaking to about sort of whether we call it tiered or sliding scale or what.
Mm.
I spoke to her about it. I mean, I knew I wanted to do it, but I was trying to figure out the words to use for it without any sort of, triggering, like, what that might mean, like, what how do I say this? And I just was like, all I have to do is just speak the truth.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, like, if you have access of funds and you want to pay this much per month, great. If you feel like you have adequate funds, you can just pay this much. If you feel like
Mm.
less funds than you would like, I just was like, I don't know how else to say this. I can't make names for them because it's
Yeah.
very private and it is a really, it's confidential. I think it doesn't matter to me what you pay. It matters to me that you're there and you're committed to you and your self study.
Yeah.
If that means you're paying this or this, who cares? I don't care. So, I mean, honestly, I really don't. So I don't know if that there was someone or some place that I saw that. I do think, as far as my mentors go, I think I will give a nod to my both. I think both have spent their entire life dedicated to helping people less fortunate than them or people in China, right? My dad was worked with ch- mostly adolescents who were having challenges in their life for whatever reason.
Mm.
Um, and he got them into jobs, and he dedicated his whole life to this. And my mother worked with domestic violence victims and children
Mm.
and has written many grants. And so I think I've just always seen this of like help. Help has been a huge
Mm.
help others when you can. Help has been a huge part of what I learned from a very early age. And so maybe it's
Mm.
accessibility. I don't know what it is, but I think I've always just known that if you got in your car, on your bike, or on the bus to come to yoga, you can come to yoga.
Yeah.
Even, I always tell the teachers, like, if you're there and I'm not there and someone's like this, and I don't know, tell them to sign a waiver
Mm.
because there's some logistical things we have
Yeah.
to take care of, and then let them take class.
Yeah.
And I'll reach out to them later and figure it out. Like, I want people to be able to come and take a yoga class or Pilates class or dance class if that's their hope dream. And even if it's their first class free, obviously I'm running a business, so there's a bottom line to cover.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But I think that that's something I innately learned probably my parents. And even if it wasn't really just taught, it was modeled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, now I'm thinking about all kinds of things. I'm thinking about, uh, you know, leadership and, the difference between mentoring and leadership. And I've had the privilege of, taking amazing yoga classes from you, but I've also seen you with people who you were working with or who were interns, so to speak. Um, is that the correct language? Like an intern? Is that
I usually just say I'm mentoring with someone. So I
okay?
eat.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, and I've witnessed you in like a lot of different things, and also just so I think that this idea of approachability is something that's really important, and something I also really appreciate about you. Now, not that this is just like, oh my God, Amy, Amy, but oh my God, Amy, Amy, like you're doing some good shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's. But one of the things I like is just there seems to be in the circles that I've been in with you, like a transparency and an honesty and an authenticity and also an approachability, but something very, very clear. Like there's always clear boundaries. You know, at least what I've witnessed, I'm sure not always, but which is just so refreshing, right? To see someone in leadership, what like you have great clarity. And right, like there was a time, where you sent me a little text and you said, "Oh, this didn't work. Could you do this?" And I was like, "Oh, great, fuck
Yeah.
yes, I can do that." You know what I mean? Like you're always, um, I mean, you sent me many texts, but I'm just so grateful for your clarity.
Yeah.
You know, it's refreshing.
I think that's important as a leader and as a mentor.
Mm.
I think I'm mentoring someone. I really am trying to choose my word um, thoughtfully and and when I'm teaching too. Like, I'm really maybe it looks like I'm up there just, like, being passionate and crazy and sometimes swearing and sometimes crying, and all those things are true, but
Yes. It's fucking great. It's so refreshing.
I'm very, I'm very passionate about it, and I'm very clear with my words because I want it to be clear in people's bodies. I don't want feel
Mm.
confused about, like, wait, which arm, how, and feel like then it's some sort of
Yeah.
game. But it's really about the mindfulness of being inside your body and listening to your body. What you do, how
Yeah.
you move. Should I move slowly? Should I um should I put my knee down? Should I, these things that,
Yeah.
like, how should it go? And maybe should's not the right word, but how could it go for me? Because I have these educated guesses about how it's going to go in your body.
Mm.
Everybody has a different lived experience in their body and different things that they're kind of watching for and careful of. And so, we all know the best about our bodies, even if people don't believe it, body
Yeah.
best. I'm here with some ideas to offer, and I try to choose my words carefully about how to offer those. So thank you for also noticing that.
Yeah. It's so refreshing.
Thank you.
And I'm so grateful. And I also always get the sense like we're learning together. I don't ever get the sense and I think that's really and also you'll say, "Well, I'm actually not gonna" like the other day you were like, "I'm actually gonna do it with one arm, and I'm not gonna" And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah." It was
Yeah,
perfect. But you
yeah,
gave us the clarity that we need to use both of our arms because you can use your arm, right?
yeah, yeah.
So, I really appreciate that I always feel like I'm learning with you. Um, I did wanna ask, like, what do you think are some of, like, the do's and don'ts of mentoring? Do you have, like, certain, like, guidelines or guardrails for yourself around it?
I just think it's really different with each person. And so that's why I I've been thinking of I'm still gnawing on it, trying to figure it out, but of starting
Mhm.
a program for some students who've finished their 200-hour and then they're like, now what? How do I start teaching? Who am I?
Oh.
Because I think that's really important. There's a lot of people that finish a 200-hour yoga teacher training and then they're like, no, no. So
Yeah,
so I've thought about doing that, and I've that's why I've been working with some people just one on one. Also, some of them have been teachers that are now at the studio,
yeah.
but I think it's really important to realize that everyone learns differently. Everyone hears differently.
Mhm.
So for some students, it might be really great to kind of walk them through physically. Hey, when you were doing this, I was feeling this. Some students will really be verbal, and they don't want to just talk about it. Some students want to not talk about it at all for like 2 or 3 days and then come back to it because maybe they'll feel attacked if I try to give them feedback.
Mm. Mhm.
So I really try to go into each mentoring um, situation, learning the person. How do you learn best? What do you do? I'm going to try to give you the best way I know how to do it, but I don't know how you receive information. And so that's really important to me. And that's harder when I'm teaching a class of 20 or more people because I'm like I only have a certain amount of
Yeah,
time with all of you, right? So I'm going to say the way that I think it's going to land on your body the best. It's going to be as clear and concise and and
mm,
and
yeah,
real as possible with all of the options, but at the same time, I can't come around to each 26 bodies. So you're in charge. You got to listen and you got to
yeah,
make but I'm going to be as clear as I can. I promise no one in my class is going to feel unsafe.
yeah,
I make sure that everyone feels safe, everyone feels included.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think there's do's or don'ts.
Mm.
There is realize that everyone's different and going into it knowing that everyone's gonna learn differently, and the way that you taught the last person might not work for this person.
Oh, yeah, that's so true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I think that's really interesting, and I love there aren't any do's and don'ts, and I just wanna say Angela Corvino was just saying, "2 of my favorite people." So I just wanna say hi and,
Hi,
"Hey, I'm so glad that we're together today and with you," and so
I love it. Thank you.
yeah, so, yeah, hi, Jane and Joe, and yeah, hello, everyone, and
Hello.
hi, and so, Another, something that I think about is, what are some things going in that create that safety? Um, but also, Brene Brown talks about something. She talks about brave space and safe space. Like, how can we have like brave space and how can we have safe space? Um, and I'm wondering about one of the things that I bring in the beginning for my students is, and for my mentees, that one of my mentor, my beloved Angelus Arian, taught me was something called the fourfold way.
Mhm.
And the fourfold way, I'm like, this is the foundation for everything. Everything sits on this. Everything that I do sits on this foundation. And that foundation is speaking the truth without blame or judgment, or telling the truth without blame or judgment, doing in our lives what has deep heart and meaning, which is just muy, muy, muy importante. Um, Being open to the outcome, not attached as best we can, being open to the outcome,
Yes.
not attached to the outcome,
Yes.
And, yeah, and showing up and choosing to be present, showing up and choosing to be present. And so, uh, and she really believed that if you can do those four things, then everything will go better. And she believed that it improves your happiness by 85% if you just can do those four things. And so that's really been something very foundational for me. And I'm kind of wondering, like, I mean, you know, what are some what are some foundational wisdoms that you really uh, kind of place everything, or that you share kind of coming out of the gate when you begin working with someone to create that safety, or to create a container, or to navigate things with them? You
Uh,
share something, or?
that's awesome. I love that. And, I
Mhm.
when you're saying those things, it's much like the yamas, niyamas of, the sutras of yoga, right? It's these ideas that we can
Oh, yeah.
move through our world and how we react to things or not react, how we, pause, how we listen, how we wanna be treated, how we the other day, driving into the studio, and there was a student who literally almost ran me over. Like, a pedestrian, she was going to park, and she was running tardy, and, she thought she was running tardy. She almost ran me over to she got in the I was like, "Hey, babe, you realize that you almost ran over your yoga teacher." I So, I'm just gonna start our practice right there.
Oh, wow.
Let's slow down, shall we? Because I know there's a reality of, like, I have to get there on time because the door locks. Yes, I understand there's the concept of time. There's relativity here, but yeah, we gotta still be aware. We gotta still be, in the world and of the world. And so, I think some of the things, I was just talking with one of my kids the other night because, man, parenting, whew, she teaches you a lot.
That's yoga.
Woo, and especially, this is so uncomfortable. But, yeah, I have 2 boys, teenagers, and they were having an argument with each other, which, really they rarely do. And so when they do, I'm always like, "Oh, do I need to step in, or should I
Mhm.
sit over here?" And, they sort of parted, right? They're both like, "If everything goes badly, just part and go your own way," which is great. That's a great tactic to, like,
Yeah.
pause, I think. But I separately went to both of them, and the reason I bring it up is because I do think this is something that I try to bring into all aspects of my life
Yeah.
and of my teaching and of my mentoring, and that is, you know, in communication, which I think plays into even a yoga class. Um, when I'm trying to communicate something to someone that's hard, that feels vulnerable, that feels frustrated or angry or hurt or any of
Mhm.
really the thing to do is pause and think about how can I get what I need to get across to this person
Mhm.
in a way that they can hear it.
Yeah.
And when they can hear it, then
Oh, that's great.
that's the job. And then
Yeah.
how they respond, I can't be attached to, nor can I
Yeah.
have control over, but I can get what I need to say out. And the reason this is pertaining to yoga is because I can offer a pose that might feel like this sucks. I don't like this pose. And maybe you don't like the pose because it's hard. Maybe you don't like the pose because we're not good at it. Maybe we don't like because it's all about flexibility or all about strength. Who knows what the deal is? Or you have tight hips or, but there's ways that you can modify it always. So know that. And then know that really your response is all you're in charge of, right? So how do I respond to this? How do I communicate? Hey, body, you're okay. You came here on purpose. This isn't happening to me by accident. I chose this. I'm curious
Yeah.
about why am I kind of having a tantrum about the fact that I can't stand on one leg? And that's just really always an interesting thing to kind of witness. And I feel actually pretty honored when I am teaching and I get to witness those moments that I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, that's hard for them
Yeah.
today. And I'm here and I see you. I see
Yeah.
whether you're trying or I see you, you just say, you know what, that's enough. I'm going to stand and I'm going to let it go. Because
Yeah.
I think that that part of it is how it pertains to our yoga practice specifically, but it comes off our mat into the world. Like when
Yeah.
I'm frustrating conversation with my mom, do I just start to freak out and
Yeah.
spiral? Probably not helpful. So, I think that's something I try to bring in as a base for how I live my life and how I teach and how I
Yeah.
communicate, how I am with others. And most of the time, I'll say 80% of the time it goes pretty well. 20% of the time, I fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I feel
Yeah.
like when um I usually am pretty good about coming back and saying, "Hey, you know what? My bad.
Yeah.
Uh that was just me responding out of a triggering moment or whatever was going on, my shadow kind of coming out.
Yeah.
So I think I at least try to make that happen. And I haven't always. I think that's, later in life I've learned. That's why I'm trying to impart this wisdom onto my kiddos.
Yeah.
I mean, do you know what I mean about that? Does that
Oh,
make
yeah.
sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, I'm thinking about there's this, it's called the Celtic vow of approach,
Mhm.
and it's for friends, it's for a partner, there's many different um, uh, ways that it is worked with. But I love it. It's I honor your gods, I drink at your well, I bring an undefended heart to our meeting place. I will not negotiate by withholding. I have no cherished outcome, and I am not subject to disappointment. Woo! Um, yeah, yeah. It's just like, oh, and I like what you're saying because it's like there's so few times where I actually can do all of those things. you know,
Sure. Of course.
you know, yeah, especially that not subject to disappointment, right? But one of the things that I really noticed in the mentors that I've had the privilege to work with is that there's like an equanimity. And there's a mentor that I'm thinking of in particular, Dan Church. Um, I was the spiritual advisor at a university called Bastyr University for like 20 years, and I loved it so much. And I really, I loved him. And when he was the president, he it's like he never intended to teach anybody anything. Like he was not about that. He was not like, oh, I'm gonna. But just when I would just watch him and his interactions and the way he was like, there was only one person in the entire world. Like when a student was talking to him, they were the only person in the whole world. And he made efforts, right? Like what you were saying initially, like you worked for it, right? He would remember that person's name,
Mhm.
right? And there's, I don't know how many, thousands of students there, but he would make that effort to like memorize and remember. And then very next time he met them once, but the next time he would meet them, he would, right, say their name. And so I think that, an advisor, I don't know about even that type, it's not, that's not like a thing.
Yeah.
It's more like because right now what we need um, collaboration, right? We need to be collaborative and I think we're really seeing the pain of not creating kinship. Like you're talking about your sons, and what you're doing is you're teaching about kinship and I mean, part of relationships you have to be able to repair.
Mhm.
You have to figure out how to repair. And so you're giving that, like I feel like you're offering that to your sons and in a way where you have faith in them and trust that they can figure it out. And in addition to giving some, guardrails as we talked about earlier.
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah. So I'm curious about like what shows up for you, what comes, what comes to your mind when you think about kinship and how we can start developing that because we don't fucking have it.
yeah.
We don't have it.
I think it takes a lot of trust.
Yeah.
I think it takes a lot of trust in ourselves that
Mhm.
can feel things and that we can know things and we can trust our instincts and that we can really step into trusting others.
Mhm.
I know so many, I know a lot of other entrepreneurs or, my background was in dance. So dance companies, artistic directors, things like that. And, when I was dancing, I always remember the director saying, "Hi, dancers, blah, blah, blah. My dance, this," or, other studio owners,
Oh,
teachers, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always really hesitant to say, the dragonfly teachers, the dancers. They're not mine.
right.
And I know that's like this small detail, but I think it helps all of the teachers at the studio feel that I'm the owner of the space. I'm their guide for for running the space for all of the logistical stuff, but I trust them inherently to lead the class. They are not my teachers. There's a couple of them that I did some mentorship with, um, but most of the teachers at Dragonfly came to Dragonfly already accomplished, gorgeous, brilliant teachers.
Yeah.
And they're all very different. And that's not by accident. That's really on purpose. And I say this, this isn't
Interesting. Yeah, that's great.
the kinship part. I think that get together as a studio, we have this sort of family kinship, even though we're never there at the same time
Yeah.
because it's always one of us teaching. But we all have this huge respect for each other, knowing that, Heidi teaches this way, Elizabeth is more like this, Era's more like this. Everyone has this different way, but there's this unifying grounding of like passion and curiosity and love and um, presence and accessibility and inclusivity
Mm.
that really at the
Mhm.
of everyone's practice, even though we all come at it from a different angle, from something that we feel is how we want to teach. And I think I mean we like me and the others, right? It's
Yeah.
not dragonfly in my way. I mean, not at all. I would not want 17 other Amy's teaching. That would be
Yeah.
boring and so bossy.
And creepy. No,
So,
like we're talking Stepford wives over here.
yeah. I think that there's studios out there that do that. They're like, here's the template, teach like this, teach these things in this order, play this music. And I'm like, oh my, that sounds awful.
Terrible.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it's terrible.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know if that speaks to kinship, but I think the word kind of jumped out to me when I think about the studio, when I think about the people there, the
Yeah.
teachers. I do think we all have this huge respect for each other.
Yeah. I'm wondering, have you worked with children? I don't know this about you. Have you
Yeah,
done yeah?
yeah.
And I'm curious about how did you create kinship between the children or how did you create openings for them? I mean, kids are like, kids are kids, but yeah, and between you and the children, how did you
Let's see. I think it helps because I feel like I'm probably about, 9 or 10 years old on the inside sometimes. Sometimes I feel like I'm actually, when somebody comes in and they come in, it just happened today, actually. Someone came in and they brought their kiddo. I mean, they weren't like real young, they were more like a teenager, but with somebody who's 8 or 9 or 6 years old, they come in. I'm like, "Hi, what are you doing? Oh, I love your shirt. Where'd you
Yeah.
get?" I immediately just start talking to the kid because I'm like, I love how unabashed,
Mm.
authentic children are. Somewhere in there, we learn, I don't know, niceties, society things that we think are supposed to do and act and be.
Yes.
I mean, kids are they're still just like, "Hey, your eyebrows look funny,"
I know, I love that.
You're like, "Wait, what?" You know? But I love working with kids, and I think when I work with kids, I just turn into a big kid, and I end up playing with them, and they always have the best time, and then parents are always saying, "Oh, they can't wait to come back to your class," and I think it's because we had fun.
Yeah.
We enjoyed we enjoyed
Oh.
we did something silly, we also did something creative, we just had a good time, we had fun together and enjoyed each other's company, and I try to see them as an equal, even if I know I'm sort of the one, of course, guiding class and in charge of it.
Yeah.
Can't give them too much or else everything goes
Right.
bang.
Yeah, because they don't care about, they just wanna, yeah, be in the
Yeah.
moment, right?
We do need some boundaries, but,
Yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
I, I love teaching kids. The first time I remember teaching a room full of boys, because I was, of course, used to teaching girls at first with dance,
yeah.
and the first time I was teaching it was like a boys hip hop class or something, and I
Oh my gosh, how fun.
found to do something like this was probably back in the day where I was using, like, a boom box, right? It was probably with a CD or something, and
Oh, yeah, with the boom pot, yeah, we used to,
I turned around and, like, they were all just, like, climbing the wall and on top of each other, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to drastically change my my way here. This is not they're not gonna sit there and wait for me to turn the music on and then say, 'Go.'" I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh, okay, this is different. So this is gonna be games. We're gonna play, you know,
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
we're gonna play crazy." I made up this game once called the Magic Box, and we would all run in the room, and we would like, where there was a chest in the corner, and we would hide in the Magic Box, and all these little boys were suddenly, like, piled,
Oh.
and I was like, "Okay, this is a lot, but alright." Slowly open the Magic Box, and I would choose one of them, and I would say, you know, "Joe, what do you wanna do today?" And he would say, "I wanna jump." So I would say, "Okay, let's jump like spotted frogs." And then we'd jump around the room
Oh
like,
my god.
and would jump. What if a spotted frog was really sad while they were jumping? And then
Oh.
what if a spotted frog only could jump on one leg and then they were suddenly happy? And we would do, and then, "Oh, back in the box, back in the box. Oh, hurry, hurry." And they'd all, so it started to get out of control.
I wanna play that game.
And like, "Okay, now Jerry, what do you wanna be?" And it was ridiculously fun, and it could go on for 15 minutes, and it could just, but they're moving.
Mhm.
They're having so much fun and they're expressing themselves, and that's what's beautiful about children is they're not worried about whether or not they look stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not about perfect.
No.
Yeah, they don't need to look
Oh,
good or have it together or yeah, yeah, it's
yeah.
just,
Is
"Let
my
me move my body." Yeah,
my tummy, they're like, "Wow!" They're just like, "Who
yeah,
cares?" They're just in it.
yeah.
Mm.
I think we talked last time. I just wanna say that Stella says, "Imagine we all loved and lived from a place of fun, loved and loved from a place of fun."
Oh, ab
Imagine that.
I
'Cause
know.
we're fucking serious, like, we're so serious now. We're like, everything is serious, and my business is serious, and my thing is serious, and my other thing is serious, and my
I know.
relationship is serious, and my everything.
I know. I know. And you know what? There's a place and time for serious, sure, yeah,
Yeah,
but there's
yeah,
a place
yeah,
and time to, like, laugh and fun and blow off a little
yeah,
steam, and I think that's why I like teaching that Saturday morning class because 'cause I'm like, "I'm just gonna play some great music and we're gonna move." Sometimes I feel a little more intense, and so "Hey, we're gonna be angry today while we move,"
yeah.
whatever it is, but yeah, there's a lot of, like, the serious yoga face sometimes, like,
I know.
"Okay, everybody, it's okay."
I know, yeah, or and yeah, like, this and the outfit, everything, serious, serious, and I'm just like, "Oh," and I just love what another thing I really love about you is how playful your outfits were. Like, you just wear what the fuck it's
Whatever.
so fun. I'm like, "Oh my god, that sweater is so interesting," and you wear your socks, and sometimes you wear, like, things over other things that are just so interesting, and lots of color and different things, and, yeah, so there's an innate playfulness, I think, too, that I really enjoy in your nature,
Yeah.
um,
Maybe
but
that's
yeah,
right.
yeah, yeah, and so I think and of course, because of the solemnity of so much that is happening in the world, like, I think we need to have both, and I think it's like, well, we can only be serious because we don't fucking know what kinship is, and we don't teach our daughters what kinship is, and people can groom our children and do horrible things, and, you know, that all of this, like, I have to say, I'm so grateful this is blowing up, what's blowing up, and, and the Epstein class, as we're calling them now, um, that this is blowing up because this needs to happen. It's desperately needed to happen for a long time. And so we don't know what kinship is. And, the data on is just there's just so much real good material. And here on Ellie Leonard is just amazing. And she's going through all of the files
Hmm.
and she is making the connections and she's just a journalist. I mean, a true journalist and so brave and so fucking amazing and will not like there I saw her on my friend's podcast the other day and she was like, "Yeah, no. Like do not put that shit in my DMs. I'm going to keep searching for the truth. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm not So I think that there's just something about like, I wonder who her mentor is. You know, maybe I should ask her to come but
Yeah.
it's right, there are things that it's how do we teach our children, how do we strengthen them and galvanize them and teach them, like, these things that you do, like, how to have the clear boundaries, how to right? And so I'm really looking at kind of like I know this is, like, global and, you know,
Yeah.
um, but if they knew how to have kinship, or if they knew how to care for themselves or protect themselves or their value, or right, if they knew, and not to say that I know anything, I'm not the knower of things, but, how to develop that kind of, yeah, self-knowledge or that kind of, like, yeah, how can a mentor help someone? Do you know any ideas? It's just that this thought came to my mind.
Yeah. I mean, self-worth, right?
Oh, yeah.
Self-worth. Maybe we mentioned last time we spoke, but one of my mentors, his name is Donald McHale. This amazing American or African American dancer, choreographer, huge pioneer in the modern dance world. But he was he was on my thesis committee when I was getting my master's, and my boyfriend at the time, who is now my husband, said, "Well, what can Amy do with a master's degree in dance?" Because he's very like, I'm not. He's very engineer, like that's just his background. And Donald looked at him and he said, "Amy can do anything she wants."
Oh,
And I remember hearing that, and I was just like, "Yeah, probably true." And I think sometimes I'm not the knower of things, like you said. I'm not the one up here with all the answers.
mm.
Human as everyone else. I screw up all the time. I have shitty days. I have days where I feel like, how could I possibly go into that studio and be interesting or inspiring or even just call out poses, right? But what's amazing is it's the showing up,
Mm.
just the showing up and showing up as we are. Like I go there, no matter how I'm feeling beforehand, I always feel better after, even if I'm not practicing. Even
Oh, interesting.
the current state that I'm in with my broken collarbone, I can go in and call the poses and be in this class, and I am super regulated afterwards. Even though I haven't physically done what you all have done, I was there for it. I was part of it. I was my nervous system was regulated. And,
Oh, yeah.
you know, sometimes it's through seriousness, sometimes it's through meditation,
Yeah.
sometimes it's through letting go of a spiral story, sometimes it's through silliness,
Yeah.
sometimes it's through great music,
Yeah.
sometimes like saying the F word, crying. I don't know, like we don't have the same fix every time as people.
Mm,
So I totally I think it's just come back to this like self-love and self-worth and
mm,
presence. And that's where I can literally like it's like I can physically see it in the room.
mm.
I can see like about 20 minutes in, I'm like, okay, I got him now. I
Yeah.
got keep him on this journey
Yeah.
with me. And then at the end, you're like, okay, now you can go. Thank you. And like, oh, that was magical. I'm like, great. I don't know what happened.
I know. I was like, "Oh, Amy, like, yeah." Like, that was
Yeah.
epic, yeah. Mhm.
Hopefully that felt good. Hopefully it landed. I felt like I could tell, but I don't know, Anyway, yeah, so I don't know if that really answered your question, but
Yeah, yeah. Well,
yeah,
I
go
I think I mean, I think what you're talking about is you're talking about self-trust, like self-love and self-esteem, and, I think that's self-trust, and that, I think that, you know, who is teaching us to trust our intuition and to trust ourselves, and that's what is, like, moving around that room and touching everyone and that magic is really the the in touch nature of something more
yeah.
than our intellect,
There's
you
so
know?
many things in the world right now that are trying to tell us, like, how to get in touch with ourselves. Here's a book,
Yeah,
here's an app, here's
yeah,
here's a meme, here's a GIF, here's
yeah.
this funny page, here shit, man, how about just sit still
Fuck yeah, boom.
and look at my
Fuck yeah, boom, that's it.
thing, and you're like, "Oh, wow, I feel a lot calmer. Hmm, interesting."
Yeah.
And nothing's fixed, nothing's better. Your
Mhm.
relationships are still the things that they were before you did this meditational breathing or dance around or whatever it was, but it certainly calms you down a lot, and it certainly makes you more able to make those responses that I was
Yeah,
talking about earlier. What is my next step? How should I move? What should I say? What should I not say? Should I wait some while longer? Like just being able to make those next steps, I think, is what's important. And I'm super in that right now. I'm like a walking version of that right now with my stuff that's going on with my body. I'm like, listen,
mm,
show up today. I'm going to take the next step. I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to take the next
yeah,
step.
mm,
Does it feel great? Nope. Nope. Sure
yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
You know, But it's not always going to feel great because if it always felt great, we wouldn't know what great felt like.
Right, right. And I think this is something is that if everyone just knew, boys, girls, non-binary children, if they knew just your body belongs to you and you know and anything or anyone that touches you needs to feel good to your body and to your heart and your mind and your spirit, and if it doesn't, you just get to be like, no. Right, like, not today, not ever, right. And just like that ability to just possess themselves and own themselves, and the knowledge that they can be inside of their bodies and they're the only one who belongs inside of their bodies
Yeah. Yeah.
forever, right? Like,
Ever.
until they decide, become adults.
Yeah.
And after the age of, consent, and
Yeah.
it's consent, and this word consent, right? And they know what that is. And so I think, and it's evident to them exactly how that's done. And so I think that, exactly this intuition and this ability you know, to develop kinship really starts with self-respect and self-love and that ability to really trust,
Trust yourself.
yeah, and to be embodied, right? So,
Trust your skill.
oh my
Yeah.
god, trust your skill. Well, I have one more question, and I have a poem, of course, because I'm a poet, so um it's a thing.
Love it.
um and so, well, I have two more questions. um and so one of them is when you were with your mentors, and Donald Mikhail included. Um, I just have a curiosity. You just told me one, something that he said to your husband. But what were some lessons for life that you've gathered from your mentors that like are that consist like maybe come to you daily or often or weekly or whatever it is that how often they come?
Yeah, I think there's so many. With Donald, they came in these little quick pro quos that were really beautiful. But there's another woman who was one of my undergraduate. She was actually another Amy because we're lots of Amy's on the wall. Amy Ragsdale. Yeah, but Donald, one of the things he used to say to me is he said, "Be wrong, don't be boring."
Oh,
Like
oh,
that as it pertained to being on stage. Once I've given you the choreography, now the choreography is the dancers. My job is to give you the choreography, but I'm not the one performing it on stage, it's you. So if you're wrong, I'm probably the only one who's going to know as the choreographer, but just don't be boring.
oh my God.
And I remember like that was like, ooh, that's a keeper. That's a keeper. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um and then Amy used to say to me, listen,
Mm.
there's no way that you can be the best one in the room and actually learn.
Whoa.
Um,
T-shirt, bumper sticker. I'm
I
in my
know, I was like, I know, but it's so funny because I grew up in a small town in Montana and I was going to all these, workshops and I don't know, big weekends of classes and things. And I remember feeling like, okay, I'd look around like all the dancers in the state in my younger years and be like, okay, I'm pretty good.
yeah,
Okay, fine. I
yeah.
think I'm holding my own. It's fine. And then, the first time I got a scholarship to go dance at a school in Chicago, I went, I think I was 15, 14.
Oh my God, sweet, sweet Amy.
And
Oh,
I like, I thought my eyeballs were going to pop out of my head. Like, oh, I'm the worst one. Hmm. Okay. Well, time to learn. Time to buckle down and start learning. And
wow.
it was just an amazing experience. I think putting yourself in a place where you're just constantly inundated with opportunity for learning. And I think that we often do that as young people. It's harder to do as we get older because we feel inadequate or we feel worried about, someone looking at us or
Yeah.
whatever it is. It's I think it's something constantly to strive to do. I recently, I'm sure you know this, I started going to School of Rock for singing.
Yeah.
So now, oh my gosh, it's so amazing, but it is so scary. And I'm like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah.
this is so exciting. And I'm not the best singer, but I'm learning and I'm loving it. And I'm in the room with musicians of all different levels and ages. And
Mm.
it's like a new family. So I think that's another thing that I've learned. I also had one teacher, I maybe have mentioned this to you before, but I had a teacher in Chicago who came up to me and he just grabbed me by the shoulders without consent. But
Oh, well,
and like, listen, you've got to stop dancing for everyone else and you have to start dancing for yourself.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's different.
Yeah.
And I feel like when I actually started to be able to inhabit that idea of dancing just for myself, oh, I got jobs, jobs, jobs.
Oh, wow.
Kinda like kick my leg higher than her or turn more than him or, worried about everyone else, was I better or worse?
Yeah.
Uh, so I was worried about what everyone else thought. Mm, that didn't go so well, but the minute I was like, I'm out here with some good shit and I feel good," then it's
Yeah.
coming up to me, and that's
Yeah.
a good lesson.
Yeah. I am enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, I am enough. I'm more than sufficient
yeah,
to anything that comes to my gate.
yeah, and
Right.
special and unique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you are, Char.
Oh.
especially.
Thank you. Thank you, Amy. And you are Amy. And you are. We are. Thank you for coming today and talking with me. My next question was, what are you creating now? And so I hear you. Yeah, I just wanted to ask what you're creating now. I know that you're also doing choreography. You're also and working with your voice, and so I just wanted to ask what you're creating now and how people can find you.
Well, okay, this feels scary to say out loud, but, uh, I'm writing a book.
Amy! Oh, Amy, that's so
Yeah.
great.
Right now, it's just a big, collection of writings that have no I don't wanna say no thread, but I haven't put them in this way. So I'm but the fact that I know what it is. I know what it's called. I know what it will look like. I know what the outline is, and now I just have to, like, actually make that happen. And I'm really excited about that, and I think it's so crazy because both my parents, were writers, and, they would both be like, "Yay!" Don't tell my
I
um,
promise. I commit to not tell.
and let's see, I like to sing at School of Rock. It's super fun, helping to create a community of people that are constantly more in touch with themselves, in touch with the world around them, curious about how they move in it. That's also something I'm constantly hoping to create and constantly checking in on. So I think those are the things that I'm creating. Oh, and maybe some two teenage, soon to be out of my home,
Oh yeah,
those two.
yeah, yeah. They say that children are the greatest creations. I know that they're the hardest job in the world.
Uh,
It is the hardest. Parenting is definitely
Yeah. I,
the
I
hardest job.
I'm at Dragonfly almost every day of the week. Dragonfly's in West Seattle. It's between Admiral Junction and the main California Junction. The address or the email address, sorry, website, excuse me, dragonflywestseattle.com. You can find me there. I think I also have my Instagram is Dragonfly Yoga Pilates Dance. So I'm not that hard to find, really.
Yeah, yeah, so good. And I just want to say, I know we're running a little bit over. Is it okay if we just a couple more minutes?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. I'm just like, oh, you
I was
know,
giving you all the stuff in case you're like, I'm done with you, lady.
oh no, no, I just a couple more minutes, please. Um, it's so amazing because I just finished a memoir that I finished a memoir that I worked on for like 20 years, and and because I mean, it's like your blood is it's like your blood and your sweat and your tears are all there, and you know, so for me, it's just like having finished it is so sacred, and now, of course, the process of, you know, in all of the other processes that you do in querying but what's sacred is to speak it, to tell it and to say it, and as women of power, as women who can, uh maybe have an impact in and of course have an impact in what we're doing, but, um, with some dignity and humility and care. So thank you, for inspiring me, and I'm so excited to hear more about your writing, and so I think I'll close with with The Soul of Birds, this is from a different book that I'm working on now, which is a workbook from my courses, but this is called The Soul of Birds. And it says, "Eye level this way, levitating on your bright wings. I wonder nothing. Everything I need is here. Your throat of bronze shining, speaking thousands of tongues. Languages deciphered by the iris that opens to the sky. I cannot witness you. I must enter the plumes like a falconer who can see through your eyes. This freedom, spirit, in your arms I fly with you. I cannot turn my face from you. My bones metamorphosize into your sibling, and our flight touches the outermost edges before the stars begin. You are my beloved, the birds who cherish me, challenge me, speaking in a language I understand, and sing me to sleep in the darkness that I love. Thank you for sharing your voice with us, Amy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. Muchas, muchas gracias. And shukran. Thank you. And Palamia. I will see you soon, very soon.
Hey, I will always look forward to it. Thank
Yeah,
you for having me and doing this.
yeah. Thank you. Happy New Year.
Of
Mm,
course.
mm.